In this video, I'll walk you through exactly how you can create an aesthetic personal brand on LinkedIn that's 100% optimized for both growth and conversions. This blueprint takes away all the guesswork that usually comes with building your presence here. And whether you're starting from scratch or already posting but want to level up, this is for you. I'll show you the 7-step framework I use with all my clients to grow an audience and turn impressions into opportunities. So let's dive in. The most important thing and where you need to start is with market research and inspiration, because it will be a nightmare if you are trying to start from scratch when you have no idea what colors to use, or maybe you already have a brand book but you don't really know what do good practices look like on LinkedIn. So first step is market research and inspiration. So what you're going to do, start observing others before posting, collecting examples, and then looking at the vibe that you feel more connected with, that you like. So for example, here we have Laura Costa, myself, and Anthony Pieri. 3 very different looking personal brands with a very different vibe and aesthetic. Laura's, I feel, is very strong, very showing that she is a girl boss, and she is teaching you on how to build personal brand, and the light is behind her. It's orange, it's a strong coloring, and it's black and orange, strong colors. Mine is a bit more green, like organic, content-led growth, a bit more fresh, with like a tone of professionality, with the curves that come in. And then I feel that Anthony is very systematic, because colors define different parts of the phrase. I feel like he uses a lot of colors in his branding, but still is very light because it's white with pastel colors. Each one of these personal brands that I'm putting here and I'm showcasing do very well with the same things, but with their own vibe. Ideally, what we want to do is we want to steal like an artist. You're not going to copy someone exactly. I've been inspired by Laura a million times. I've been inspired by Anthony, and I look nothing like them. Why? Because you will extract things from other places to inspire your own. They all look similar in certain things. LinkedIn likes personal brands. They want to see your face. So of course, we're going to talk about profile optimization, all of that. So ideally here we know Laura is kind of like educating, teaching, inspiring, empowering. Those why her colors are very strong. I'm talking about growth, strategies, thought leadership, and he's talking a lot more about product marketing, positioning, and funnel optimization. So it's kind of like a lot more structured. We've got that inspiration, but you don't need to only look for an aesthetic on LinkedIn. There are so many other places that you can inspire yourself from. YouTube, even Instagram. I didn't put it there, but podcasts, newsletters. Also think of what does that mean in terms of not only how it looks aesthetically, but how it portrays, the words you use, the content pillars you choose. And because of that, you need to do in-depth market research and think about, what are these people talking about? How do they look? And also do some market research on other platforms. After that, we will start with our profile optimization. Okay, I got inspired by a few brands already on LinkedIn and outside in other channels and in other places where I feel identified with. Market research is also about you knowing who has your audience. Maybe I have your audience. Maybe Anthony has it. So maybe we see why it resonates with them. Because again, aesthetic is also wording and the way that you portray your narrative out there, not only the visual colors and typography and this and that. So for that, now after you've already extracted all of that, first step, it will always be on LinkedIn, is to optimize your profile, because your profile is your landing page, and you want anyone that reaches your profile for any reason. Maybe they come through a different channel, maybe you're posting a lot, maybe you're commenting a lot, whatever the reason is, we want people to, once they land on this, to understand what you offer, to feel identified with your aesthetic, to want to connect with you, and to want to buy from you. At the end, that's all we want. Important things. Photo needs to be clean light, consistent colors, and an approachable expression. Banner You need to add your value prop, a CTA, and maybe even a URL, and must be readable as well on mobile. Headline, there are a million ways you can do a headline. There's no secret formula to this, but a good one that a lot of people use is I help X get Y through Z, right? I help who get result through method. Your about section, again, there's a million ways to do this, but a formula I like to use is what's the problem, what's the solution, give some proof, add a CTA. And then your featured section should ideally have all three of these or at least one, which is a case study, a freebie, or a booking link, hopefully with a UTM tag so you can start understanding click rate. Photos, here's some examples: approachable, consistent colors, clean. With the banner, you have the value. A lot of people also add some sort of proof. So if you have interesting logos to put there, feel free to add them there. That's the moment to kind of showcase why you are credible, who you've worked with. And possibly as well, if you have a certain CTA, feel free to also add it there. Subscribe to my YouTube in this case. In my case, I have 2 banners going on at the moment, and I have to subscribe in the featured section. So basically, just make sure your value prop is very big. You give some sort of proof if you need it. Then next we'll have our headline. Our headline, again, the same thing as the profile picture. The headline is one of the things that people see first, because if you comment on someone else's post or you post something, what you will see is profile picture and headline. The only things they have, if they don't follow you and they've never gone into your actual profile, that's the only things they have to judge you on. In this case, Laura talks about being an entrepreneur and an investor. That's what's important for her. That's what she wants to be recognized as at this moment in time. I know she changes her headline all the time. If she's launching something, she'll change her headline, and then she'll just put like credibility, brands that she's worked with, and what she does, which is helping people build their personal brand. In my case, what I want people to know is that I build content machines because I want clients to come to me asking me help with their content strategy, their growth flywheel, with content in general as a system. Then I add founder because I want people to know that I have a company, and what the company is, it's that it's an organic content production house. Then my last little 2 credibility sections is that I'm a content strategist myself, and then speaker because I absolutely love speaking on the stage. It's one of my favorite things. I want people to invite me to them. I get invited to conferences all the time, and it's probably because I clearly tell through my posts, through my headline, and also my featured section. And then Anthony Perry is all about B2B homepage positioning, and then you put a little bit of personality again. Very straightforward and structured. So one of the structures that you'll hear a million times is I help X get Y through Z, right? I help who get result through method. Instead of thinking maybe in a formula, think what do you want people to see first? Like what is the most important thing for you today? Then we're going to do our about section. Formula I do like following. I think it's a good one. Problem, solution, proof, CTA. What is a problem that you are solving through your personal brand that you're building? What is the solution you're giving, and what is the proof? Again, aesthetically, you can still be yourself. I, for example, put content is like a sales team that never sleeps because that is just part of my vibe. That's kind of like my motto. I say this phrase a lot because I really do believe in it, and it brings in that personality because people have heard this phrase from me before. Now, we're going to talk about a section that I absolutely love because it allows you to showcase the things that matter the most to you. Always have a link to wherever you want people to go to, either if it's a booking link, your website, anywhere you want them to actually go to from your LinkedIn account. Then you can either add a case study or a freebie. If you have a really good lead magnet that's offering something with a ton of value, ping that there. My featured sections is book a discovery call with me, to subscribe to my newsletter, the workflow, and then a video of me speaking that I really like, because something that I learned from someone that is recruiting speakers is she always wants to go into their profile and see that they have good abilities to communicate, to speak. And if you're not showcasing that easily, she will just go look for someone else. Again, your featured section is for you to aesthetically place the things that define you the most and that bring you the most value, which is booking calls, getting more subscribers, bringing in more leads, or showcasing something that you want to attract something new. We we are going to talk about my favorite part, positioning and content strategy. Positioning is what is going to make people remember you. To do this and to have a consistent kind of like narrative throughout your posts, throughout your profile, and / aesthetic consistency, you need to ask yourself 4 questions. What do I know that creates value? Those are going to become your content pillars. Who do I help best? This is your ICP. This is your ideal audience. This is the people you are trying to reach with your content. How do I help them differently? Your edge, your special something, that separates you from the competition. Sada, for example, an agency owner can lean more on storytelling frameworks and authority. Mark, a salesperson, can lean more on proof, quick tips, and credibility. But what is it that differentiates them? It's positioning. But then after that comes the fun part, which is finding what formats actually fit your energy and your expertise. I always recommend for people to have a media mentality, because to grow, you need to think like a media brand, not a text writer. That is going to help you create a content growth flywheel that feeds within each other with different formats. Once you did it for a carousel, you can do it for a video. Once you do it for a video, you can do it for a text. Once you do it for a text, you can do it for a one-pager. You'll be able to have great numbers because you've experimented. If I would have never experimented with video before, I would have never had a post that almost got 1 million impressions. And same thing with everything, you know? It's important to ride the waves that come in and experiment and think as a media company, even if you're just a one person. Independently of the formats you choose and you start using for your content, you need to follow this framework. 35% of your posts should be growth content, so broad insights that actually get shares, things that create conversation, community, long-form educational guides, which are these carousels that perform extremely well, authority content, which is deep expertise that builds trust. That's where you'll put social proof, outcomes, educational posts, polarization. It's what's going to show that you are actually an authority in what you are preaching. Then conversion content is content that you will do to actually convert leads and be a little bit more salesy. So demand gen, free value is also great for like lead magnets. Create a piece of resource that is going to be extremely valuable for people and they're going to want to get. And then your actual offering. Do posts that are a bit more bottom of funnel and mention that you are accepting XY amount of clients this month because of this, or a case study that you have with a client that you like to showcase. And then you can have a little bit of personality, point of view, with your personal stories. Something I do want to be clear about that I mentioned before is that you really need to learn how to ride those special waves that come and go. Exact same thing what I was saying with videos. I got literally almost 1 million impressions with this post, 919,000. If I wouldn't have rode that special wave when they came and it go and I would have just stuck to one format, I would have never gotten these numbers. Same thing with these checklists that were doing super well in some time when it got 120,000 impressions. What I want to say is you need to be flexible because LinkedIn today is hard. I do not get these numbers anymore. It's really hard to get these numbers. So I'm starting to think more of like a media brand. I need to iterate more. I've been trying out different things to see what works now, what is not working now, because that is what content strategy is all about. Community engagement building. I love this because it's who I am. When I'm commenting as Deandra. I'm not commenting as anybody else. So you will literally see me say things in Spanish. That is my aesthetic. That's my vibe. I am Colombian AF. I couldn't be more Colombian. So I write things in Spanish once in a while. I have fun with wording. When we launched the newsletter, I kept doing jokes about pregnancy and like Sara is another girl. So it was like we were both pregnant and we were both giving birth for a newsletter. It's like, girl, this is kind of a little too far. I was having fun with it. The post did extremely well. It's one of my best posts in the last like 2 months. Anyways, that's kind of like community engagement building. It is the only way to succeed on LinkedIn. If you're not going to be consistently commenting on other people and building an actual community, you are just wasting your time. Please don't grow a LinkedIn brand. Now we're going to talk about conversion optimization and lead generation. There are 3 conversion paths that we work with clients. The profile funnel, so the featured sections should have something that also brings us to where the money can be made. So something you can do is you can put your main offer, what people have to pay for, a free offer like lead magnet, and a newsletter or some bonuses to get some subscriptions. DM flow, DMing people, actually having conversations is very, very important. Reply to people in the comments, send them a DM, add value, send a voice note, build relationships before coming with requests. This has been a game changer for me. A lot of my success on LinkedIn has been because of other human beings, like everything in life, but we forget this. And it's because I created real relationships, I build partnerships, have a DM flow, and also inside your content, you can have some soft CTAs, comment banana, and we'll send you the resource, full version in the comments, put a link, because again, we want to take advantage of every single place we can to send people to where we actually want them to be. The profile funnel, through DMs as well, and through your content. And here's where most people miss out. They rely on content alone, but what will bring you the real growth is double stacking growth. Organic plus outreach. Organic flow is the thing that will attract, and the outreach flow is how you will proactively connect with these people. So there are some advanced automation strategies that you guys can use to scale. First of all is to filter your ICP on LinkedIn or Sales Navigator by role, company size, and activity. So in this case, if it's go-to-market engineers, you do that. You export that list into a tool like HeyReach that will give you a ton of information that's going to be super useful for your outreach. And then you run a connection-only campaigns with short, personalized openers. Try to aim for 50 to 70% acceptance rate. HeyReach is absolutely amazing because the flows you can actually build and the sequences you can build within is top notch. HeyReach really does do things very well, and it just helps you build something that will allow you to scale everything you've been doing over here. So that is it from my side. Don't get me wrong. Following these steps will help you set up your profile and start driving more attention, clicks, and conversions. But here's the truth. None of it matters if you don't understand how LinkedIn is changing. The algorithm, the audience behavior, the competition, it's all shifting extremely fast. In the next video, I'll walk you through exactly how to adapt to those changes and how to use them to your advantage before everyone else does. If you are serious about turning your LinkedIn presence into real revenue, I'll see you in that video.